a Wednesday, number one form for Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Happy to have you all in here on a Wednesday. We're bringing you the show from the Magic City of Birmingham. We stream this to you through YouTube. Speaking of a channel, you know what time it is. You hit that subscribe button right now. You tap subscribe, you get locked in, locked on, tune in to the hottest coverage here. When you look at your Crimson Tide football program, you smash the like button, tap the like button, get those like levels up, hit that thumbs up there on the show. We appreciate that. You tap the notification bell as well so you miss nothing when it comes down to your Crimson Tide football news. That daily Super Chat Go, $100 daily. Super Chat Go, $100 right there. And we appreciate that from all of you. Now, I know we're in the dog days of summer where we're just anticipating the return of college football, most importantly, Alabama football coming back. And with that being said, going forward here for the next, or to round out the month of May here, it'll be 2 shows a week here for In My Own Words for TDA. That'll be Wednesday show and Friday show. So going forward for the next couple of weeks or so, there will no longer be a Monday show. So Monday will be a break day, and you will have the Wednesday show and the Friday show to look forward to here. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. But we're going to be still providing you the top-notch content when it comes down to Bama football news. And we want to hear from you tonight. You can do this by calling 205-448-1358. The number to call in to get your voice be heard on the show, 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. Definitely want to hear from you. But without further ado here, John, let's get into topic number one of the conversation. That is on one, Kalen DeBoer, and how fast, how quickly can he win his first national championship as the new head coach of Alabama football? That's the question. You're filling in the shoes of the greatest to ever do it in Nick Saban. We're talking 6 national championships, 9 Southeastern Conference titles, 4 Heisman Trophy winners, several All-Americans, several first-team All-SEC honorees, several players selected in the NFL draft, including 47 first-round picks. Nick Saban did a lot in Tuscaloosa from 2007 to this past season. But here's Kalen DeBoer, right? And the question everybody's asking themselves, how fast, how quickly can Kalen DeBoer get that first national championship at Alabama? And can he get it? Can he possibly get it faster than Nick Saban got his first at Alabama? Well, let's put this in perspective here. Nick Saban got his first ring at Alabama in 2009. It was year 3 of the Saban era. 2007, he comes in replacing Mike Shula. He comes in behind the locust years. When you look at, Dennis Franchione, who left in the middle of the night after Mike DeBoer's, and then you have Mike Price, who never coached a game, got fired before he even started coaching with the off-field situation he had in the club there, Mike Price, that whole issue. And then Mike Shula comes in, and Shula, who did everything he could do, he was brought in just to keep the Band-Aid from flying off the rails, right? I mean, Shula was brought in when you talk about sanctions, textbook scandals, loss of scholarships, probation. Shula was brought in just to keep the Band-Aid from flying all the way off the face, right? That's why Shula was brought in. And Shula, God bless him, did everything he could do. I know he gets a bad rep. I understand he gets a bad rep. But Shula did everything he could. 2005, he had that team that played with its hair on fire. Defensively, you had guys like Rudy Griffin, Ramsey Robinson, Simeon Castilla, Juwan Simpson, Freddie Roach, D'Amico Ryans, Tyrone Prothro, Brody Kroll. I mean, you had dudes, Ken Darby. I mean, you had dudes on that team. Nothing but dudes on an 05 team. An 05 team that truly could have won a national championship. But, I digress from that. Shula did all he could do. And you bring in Coach Saban, and Coach Saban took a program from bare bones, took a program that had slipped all the way from national prominence where the likes of Wallace Wade and Frank Thomas and Paul Bear Bryant and Gene Stallings had it, and took that program back to national prominence. Keep in mind, Urban Meyer was trying to have Florida be the gold standard of college football. And Nick Saban usurped it, stripped it from Urban Meyer, made him just leave the SEC, and made the powerhouse of college football Tuscaloosa. But Nick Saban got it done in year 3. Year 1 was a tough year, 07, a weeded out process, a process of, who's going to be with me to help build this thing for real. Had to let some players go, had to start recruiting his own guys. Thank goodness for Mal Moore, believing in Coach Saban, bringing him into the program January of 2007. And of course, in that 2007 season, it was tough, very tough on Coach Saban. But then 2008, you have your first major recruiting class that brought in Julio Jones and Mark Ingram, Marcel Darius, Terrence Cody, all those guys that came in that first class that said, hey, we want to be about this. We want to win this thing for real. And then you have 2009 where it was Saban's first class, and with a bunch of, you had 13 Mike Shula guys that didn't jump ship. Those Mike Shula guys, you had Mike McCoy, Eric Anders, Lorenzo Washington, guys like that. Those 13 guys, Chris Rogers, guys like that, Shula guys that bought into Nick Saban, didn't jump ship, didn't leave the process, stuck around, helped out, saw it happen in 09. Saban got his first one in 3 years. But when you look at Kalen DeBoer, could he win his faster? Could he get it done in 2 years? Heck, could he win it year 1? Could he win it this year for Alabama? Could he win it this upcoming season? A national championship for Alabama as a first-year head coach. Think about this now. Bama's in a 3-year national championship drought. Did not win in 2021 with Bryce Young. Did not win in 2022 with Bryce Young. Came close 2023, got to the college football playoff with Jalen Milroe as a first-year starter. Did not get it done that year. Can Kalen DeBoer get this in year 1? Credential-wise, he has the credentials to do it. DeBoer, at 49 years of age, has won it everywhere. He's been a national champion in the NAIA League at Sioux Falls. He took Washington, Pac-12 championship, had it right there in the national championship game this past season. And this was a Washington team that 2 years ago was Charlie Brown, womp, 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 womp. Nobody cared about Washington. 2 years ago, Washington was the girl at the club that nobody wore her number. Why? Washington, 4-8 in 2021. 4-8. 4-8, 2021. The board takes over, and 2 years later, what happens? They're in the college football playoff. They win a Pac-12 championship, and they come nearly close to winning it all. DeBoer has built winning cultures no matter where he's been. And now he's at Alabama. And now he's at Tuscaloosa. Credential-wise, he's got all that it takes to get it in year one. The reason why I say this, my 3 reasons as to why DeBoer gets this done faster than Nick Saban on screen here. Number 1, DeBoer's got a coaching staff in place that these players love. The energy's there, the enthusiasm's there, the motivation's there, the vibe there. The players are loving what Jamarcus Shepard, what Nick Sheridan, what Brian Ellis, what Chris Kapovich, what Kane Womack, what Freddie Roach, what Christian Robinson, what Colin Hitzler, what Maurice Linguist, what Rob Gillespie. Coaching staff is loving what all of the players are loving, what this coaching staff, all of these guys are putting out there. The energy's right there. Now, I understand for a lot of these new guys that DeBoer has brought in, they don't have the resume of a national championship, right? They don't have the resume of putting guys in the NFL right now, right? However, the first way to win these kids is you got to sell them on, I'm going to rock with you. I'm right here. I'm not jumping ship. I'm not going anywhere. I'm here for you. I'm committed to you. I'm about you. I'm rocking with you. And I'm speaking your language. And I got the energy, the enthusiasm, the motivation to stand here with you, to see your vision as an athlete, and to see your vision come to pass and win a national championship and get to that next level. And that's the vibe that these coaches are putting out here that these players are feeling right now. These players are feeling what Jamarcus Shepard is saying. They're feeling what Nick Sheridan is saying. They're feeling what Chris Kapovich is saying. They're feeling what Kane Womack is saying. They're feeling what Christian Robinson and Maurice Linguist and Colin Hitzler, they're feeling what these guys are saying. And they're understanding it, and they're putting the work in. DeBoer has the energetic teachers that he needs. Not just guys with energy, not just guys of motivation, that's important. He's got these guys that can teach, that can flat out teach. Jamarcus Shepard can flat out teach wide receivers. That's what Alabama needs right now. That can flat out teach them. Kalen DeBoer has an offensive line coach in Chris Kapovich that can flat out teach and develop these offensive linemen. DeBoer has Colin Hitzler and Maurice Linguist that can flat teach these defensive backs, right? These new guys are in here teaching and instructing these athletes out here. So you got coaches that are not just giving the motivation, that are not just giving the energy, that are not just rah-rah guys, but that can also teach, develop, instruct, right? The right way how to do this on the field. That's number 1. Number 2, I look at this Alabama offense under DeBoer. This is going to be top 3, top 5, possibly top 1, 2 explosive offense in college football. This offense is going to be explosive, folks. This offense has more than enough for a national championship, more than enough. You look at this quarterback room led by Jalen Milroe, more than enough. You look at this running back room that people aren't talking enough about, John. I don't understand this. You got arguably the best running back room. I'm going to say this. This running back room will rival Alabama running back rooms that have had Bo Scarborough, Josh Jacobs, Najee Harris, Brian Robinson, Damian Harris in those rooms. This running back room will rival those that have had Derrick Henry, Kenyon Drake, Alti Tenpenny, Tyron Jones, Alvin Kamara in those rooms. This running back room will rival those rooms that had Mark Ingram, Trent Richardson, Eddie Lacy in those rooms. Rooms that had T.J. Yeldon in those rooms. That's how good this running back room is. And people are not talking about it. Justice Haynes is a 5-star flat dog. And he's been working with Marquell Beckwith and his staff from day one. And we saw how good Haynes can be in that Michigan game this past season. That guy's a dog. Jam Miller, Josh Jacobs 2.0. Book it right now. That dude, pinball ability, contact balance, speed, power, vision, can catch out the backfield. We saw Jam at the 8A game. Guy's real deal. Guy's real deal. Richard Young, real deal. Daniel Hill, Kevin Riley, those two could possibly redshirt. But if they need to play, hey, they can ball too. At wide receiver, you got a talented room. Yes, they may not have shown it all yet. But this is the season because they got the coach and Jamarcus Shepard that's going to pull it out of them. You got 4 wide receivers that can be 1,000-yard guys. Kobe Prentice can be a 1,000-yard guy. Jeremy Bernard can be an 1,000-yard guy. There's a good chance you got a dude like Emmanuel Henderson that can really do some stuff. And then you got Ryan Williams. Ryan Williams can be a 1,000-yard guy. I'm just saying. And I'm not even talking about guys like Bubba Hampton, who came in as a freshman, Rico Scott, who's here as a freshman, and Amari Jefferson. I haven't mentioned those guys. And then not to mention, I know Jalen Hale had the big knee injury, attacking the rehab. But once he comes back, what can he contribute? And then there's Caleb Odom. I'm just saying. Wide receiver room's talented. These guys are gifted. I'm just saying, on the offensive line, you got guys back too. You got Caden Proctor back. You've got Parker Brownsford will be the center. Jaden Roberts, Tyler Booker. You got your 2 guards. That right tackle position may be the only thing there. But you got Elijah Pritchard who can play. He's got experience. You got Wilkin Formby who can play it. Played it in spring. You got Miles McVay who's talented. You got big Naquil Bertrand who came over as a transfer from Texas A&M. And then you got the Gino Van Mark kid from Michigan State. So offensively, this is going to be top 3 offense in college football. I mean, when you look at what Milroe and these guys can do, it's going to be fun to watch this. And then last but not least for me, defensively, Bama's defense is going to be better than what a lot of people expect. I know Bama lost quite a bit of guys to the transfer portal on defense, but you look at this defensive line back, James Smith is a dude. And I think behind Tim Keenan, James Smith is going to be one of those guys that we're going to have our eyes all over all season. I think Keon Keeley is about to be let off the leash, and he's going to be one of those dudes. I think LT Overton, the transfer from A&M, is going to give you a whole lot of something, a whole lot of stuff. I think guys like Tim Smith and Jamarian Latham and Damon Payne are going to factor in a lot. Jaheim Otis going to be a leader in there as well. This defensive line deep. This defensive line can rotate. I think this defensive line is going to be really strong. I think it's going to be a strong, strong group here. Linebackers, you got depth. You got with Deontay Lawson and Jahad Campbell. But when I look at Justin Okonrokwo, when I look at Jeremiah Alexander and Sterling Dixon and Justin Jefferson, you got depth there inside. Outside, Christian Robinson is going to have fun here because behind Quandarius Robinson, Q-Rob, you got Yancey Pierre and Quay Rousseau, 2 dogs ready to be let off the chain. And those guys can play. Flat out play. So, and then in the secondary, of course, you got young pieces. When you talk about the experience of a Malachi Moore, of a Keon Saab, who's got national championship experience, Devontae Smith back, Damani Jackson, who I think is going to be really good. You got Deshaun Jones and King Mack from the portal. I think this defense is going to be better than what most people expect. But those be my three reasons there in terms of Kalen DeBoer. He's got the coaching staff in place, going to have a highly explosive offense, and this defense is going to be better than most expect. It's the reason why I think DeBoer will win one faster in terms of a national championship than what Coach Saban did. I think he's got all the pieces that he needs to get this done year one for the University of Alabama. But we're going to take our first break here on the show. Don't touch that dial. We're just getting started. Upon our return, we're going to go on the phone lines. We're going to get to your calls, your thoughts, your conversations. We definitely want to hear from you on a Wednesday. We'll be back after this.
TDA Plus is the all-new Ultimate Alabama Football Package, perfect for any Alabama football fan. Not only do you get subscriber-only articles where you can stay up to date on everything that's going on with Alabama football, you also get our brand new video hub that features many podcasts and shows, including Steven's Report with Stephen M. Smith. With over 15 years of covering Alabama football, you get trusted information as Stephen goes in person to see the team come back and break down to you what he saw live in person. You also get the Way It Is podcast with Stephen M. Smith, where he tells never-heard-before stories and crazy situations that happened during his 15-year tenure of covering Alabama football. You also get Justin and Dex, where they break down recruits like you've never seen it before, with exclusive behind-the-scenes information and exclusive interviews with recruits. You also get Justin's Recruiting Bites with Justin Smith, where you get the best up-close and personal recruiting information and even talks to you while he's on the road going to recruiting events. Alabama fans, you don't want to miss this huge offer for a jam-packed experience for only $7.95 per month. Visit touchdownalabama.com and become a TDA Plus member today.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
All right, people, how we feeling? How we feeling out there on a Wednesday? Hottest show in the streets here, talking Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Happy to be here. Got my man John Iver in the production studio. You guys continue hitting the like button, tapping the like button, showing that support, smashing that subscribe button as well, subscribing to the show. We appreciate that. The daily super chat go $100. Daily super chat go $100 right there. Gotta show some love to DP. Don Parker with that $10 donation, helping us out here, putting the love in the bucket there. We appreciate that. Phone lines open, 205-448-1358. The number to call in to let your voice be made known, 205-448-1358. One more time, 205-448-1358. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang. And as you guys are continuing to get your thoughts in and before you to call into the show here, an awesome call topic here, John, is former Alabama quarterback Bryce Young, 2021 Heisman Trophy winner. Bryce looking noticeably bigger for his second year with the Carolina Panthers. His rookie season was tough. His rookie season was tough for Bryce. He got hit a lot. Only had, barely over 2,000 passing yards a season ago. 11 touchdowns, 10 picks. Not a great season, but it was not his fault. He didn't have the offensive line that he needed. He didn't have the receivers that he needed, which is the reason why Frank Reich, the head coach, gets fired. But now, Bryce, brand new head coach, and Dave Canales, who understands what he needs to do, and building talent around Bryce and a roster around Bryce. And then you look at what Bryce has done himself. He has taken it upon himself to bulk up his body. Dude has added some muscle on him. I understand he's 5'9", 5'10", I get it. But this man's shoulders now And his legs now look like he's been lifting the freeway all season. I mean, Bryce looks big, huge. So he's showing now I can take some hits, but I can sustain, I can keep myself up, I can remain on the field. More importantly, I'm putting myself in position to where I can be even better in my sophomore campaign when you talk about the NFL. So kudos to Bryce there in getting in that weight room, improving his muscle mass, improving his body. Looking forward to seeing what he does sophomore campaign for the Panthers. But take another break right here, folks. Don't touch that dab. When we get back, we discuss, Alabama has a very good defensive back room, talented defensive back room, but there's one guy in particular that can have a huge, impactful breakout season as a newcomer. Who could that guy be? We discuss him after this. We're out here at Alumni Hall in Tuscaloosa. Oh yeah, this. Oh, man. Gotta get this. Gotta get one of these right here. Can't rock that Bama without this shirt right here, fresh polo. You gotta also rock the all pink, like Kanye West right there. Keychains, gotta get you some keychains. University of Alabama keychains. I'm telling you, if you are a die-hard Alabama fan and you're looking for some big-time apparel, this place has got everything. We're talking shirts, shoes, sweatshirts, hoodies, cups, mugs, keychains. If you're just a Tide fan that has an itch to get more apparel, get more swag in your game, you come right here at Alumni Hall in Tuscaloosa, right here in Midtown Village. And also you can shop online. The link is in the description to get your gear right here at Alumni Hall.
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
We're taking you through the dog days of summer, even though not much football going on. We're providing you the hottest content when you look at your Crimson Tide. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. We're back in here with you from the break here. Continue tapping that subscribe button, hitting that like button, making this your show, your spot here to talk all things Crimson Tide football. Daily Super Chat Go, $100. Daily Super Chat Go, $100 right there. We thank all of you. But getting to topic 2 here, John, of the conversation, we are looking at a defensive back, Alabama's defensive secondary, talented guys in this group. People are intrigued by the defensive backfield. They want to know, who could be a guy or some guys that will emerge, will rise, will stand up, will do some things, because so many guys were lost to the transfer portal when Nick Saban announced his retirement back in January. When you look at the names such as Caleb Downs and Jake Pope and Earl Little and Antonio Kite and Trey Amos and Jameer Grimsley and Peyton Woodyard and Tony Mitchell, just so many guys, hit the transfer portal, after Saban announced his retirement and after spring practice. That sometimes you look at the Alabama roster and you wonder, who's all still there? Who's all still a part of this roster? Who still all wants to be about Bama and the culture of the program, right? Well, Bama's got talented guys, but the question is, who could be that newcomer that significantly makes an impact, that significantly emerges and rises, becomes a reason why the Crimson Tide wins a conference championship in the fall and wins potentially a national championship. And the guy I'm going to pull out here, true freshman Red Morgan. 4-star true freshman defensive back Red Morgan. I think this guy's a star. I think he's a stud. I think he's a big, big playmaker. I think he's in a position to have a big year in the secondary. I mean, here's a dude, Alabama native from Phoenix City, went to Central Phoenix City High School, plays bigger than what he is. He's listed at 6 feet, 175 pounds, but plays a lot bigger than what he is. A dude that came as a 4-star safety prospect, one of a few in-state guys on this roster from this 2024 class. Where you discuss also Jalen Mbakwe from Clay Chalkville High School, Pinson, Alabama, but Mbakwe's from Clay, Alabama. When you discuss Drake Kirkpatrick Jr., who's from Gaston, Alabama, played at Gaston City High School. And then, of course, when you look at you got Mbakwe, you got Drake Kirkpatrick Jr., and you've got Red Morgan. So those three guys in that defensive secondary all hail from the state here of Alabama. But Red Morgan, what sets him apart is how much the coaching staff and teammates have talked about him, especially his versatility. You look at Kalen Hitzler and Kalen DeBoer. All spring long, every other practice, it was Red Morgan. Kalen DeBoer talked about it. He's made 2 to 3 plays in practice every day. Whether it's an acrobatic interception, whether it's a pass breakup that made you go, whoa, how did he get to that? Whether it was a big hit in run support in practice that had you go, man, that kid can thump, despite only being 6 feet, 175 pounds. Whether it was a play where you thought, how did he cover that much ground, right? Kalen Hitzler discussing, man, he's elastic. He jumps out the gym. He jumps off the field. He jumps off the tape. This kid, Bama, through and through. This is all he knows, Bama. This is all he wants, Bama. And he's out here playing with the ones, and he's out here earning it on the field. A guy that's fun to coach, incredible to coach, awesome to coach, great work ethic, incredible athlete. These are coaches that have nothing but this type of positivity to say when you look at Red Morgan. And it's not just the coaches, it's the players also. Malachi Moore, Red, crazy athletic, crazy gifted, crazy talented. When he gets it all down in terms of how to play the coverage, how to be in the zone, how to be either high or low, whatever situation he's in, how to play it effectively, when he gets that, nobody's going to be able to stop this kid. Devontae Smith, defensive back, mentioning, before it's all said and done, Red Morgan is going to be insanely special. Keep your eyes on Red Morgan. You got teammates talking about him. You got coaches talking about him. I mean, the guy is gifted athletically, right? He's got versatility. All throughout practice, he's playing at that Husky spot and at that free safety spot, rotating with Devontae Smith and Keon Saab. I remember when Minkah Fitzpatrick got to Tuscaloosa in 2015. Minkah was operating in 2 different spots. He was operating at corner, and he was operating at star, at that nickel spot, right? And he's battling Marlon Humphrey at corner, and he's battling Tony Brown at star. Minkah was so gifted in versatility, he nearly won 2 jobs in fall camp. Nearly won 2 jobs. He ends up taking star from Tony Brown, but that's how gifted Minkah was in versatility. This is how gifted Red Morgan is in versatility. Like, he's running 2 spots. He can either be a starter at Husky or he could be a starter at free safety. That's how good he is. That's how athletic he is. That's how versatile he is. That's how much Kalen DeBoer and Kane Womack are trying to get this man on the field. Because it means that much to him. He's a Bama guy. Red takes this personally. It's a Bama guy. And when you have freshmen that take it personal like this, they get on the field. The coaching staff finds some way to put them on the field when they take it that personal. Like Red takes it that personal. It is awesome to see what he's doing right now, just in the offseason. Like I said, he's got a shot to either start at that Husky position where Kane Womack is going to put a lot on him, whether he's blitzing off the edge to get to the quarterback, whether he's coming down here with bad intentions and run support, whether he's matching the pattern or studying the eyes of the quarterback in coverage, whether he is creating turnovers and opportunities in coverage. Not going to be X there in that Husky position. Red's going to have a legitimate shot to be a starter here in the secondary. It'll be fun to watch where he ends up. But if I had a newcomer that would be that guy defensively, it'll be Red Morgan. We're going to take final break here, folks, from the show. I'll touch that down when we get back. We get into final topic of conversation. There's been so much talk about Nick Saban's retired, so Alabama's done, and they're going to take this big Mike Schumer fall from grace here. I'm going to get into why that's just a bunch of foolishness, and Bama's still going to be Bama right after this.
What's up, Bama Nation? This is Rudy Griffin, former Alabama defensive lineman, and you're listening to my guy, Stephen M. Smith, in my own words, brought to you by Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Roll Tide, roll!
Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care. In support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwellsports.com and get your Title Towel today.
What's going on? This is Benny Bice. I'm the founder and owner of Touchdown Alabama. And you guys are supporting one of the only independent outlets covering Alabama football today. No other sports, no networks, just Alabama football. Roll Tide, roll.
All right, folks, here we go. Back into the action from the break. Hottest show on the streets here. Talking your Bama football news. In my own word, George truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Happy to have all of you checking out the show on this evening. Appreciate my man John Ivory in the production studio. We get into right here this final discussion. And John, I'm often scrolling through X, formerly Twitter, different forms of social media, and when I see people talk about, Alabama's in trouble now, Nick Saban retired, the GOAT is gone, what's Bama gonna do? Bama gonna lose 5-6 games. They're gonna die. It's gonna be the Mike Schumer time all over again. Bama's not gonna be Bama anymore. You lost the best thing. You lost the best thing. You lost Saban. You're in doomsday now. And I look and I go, really? Like, really? Just because Saban retired does not make this doomsday, folks. Alabama's going to be Alabama even with Saban retiring. Here's why. Do y'all not realize Kalen DeBoer, with the worst roster of the teams that made the college football playoff last year, got to the national championship game and nearly beat Michigan? Y'all don't understand that? Kalen DeBoer, with the worst roster of the 4 teams that made the college football playoff a season ago, he coached for a team that made the national championship game. Think about this. Kalen DeBoer's roster went up against Steve Sarkisian's roster just last year. A Steve Sarkisian roster in Texas that had Quinn Ewers, that had, Bijan Robinson? That had what? Well, not Bijan Robinson, but it had Quinn Ewers. Yeah, it had Bijan Robinson. Quinn Ewers, Bijan Robinson, if I'm not mistaken. That had Xavier Worthy, that had a boatload of talented guys offensively. And then defensively, that had Tre'Davious Sweat, or DeAndre Sweat, among other dogs on defense. Like Steve Sarkisian had a roster, and Kalen DeBoer beat him. Oregon, under Dan Lanning, had a roster, and Oregon's known for speed, and more speed. Kalen DeBoer beat Dan Lanning, beat Oregon. DeBoer wins a Pac-12 championship. DeBoer comes close to a national title with the worst roster in the college football playoff, and now he's at Alabama with the top 3 roster in the nation. And you got people out there thinking that there's going to be this fall from grace? Are you kidding me? A fall from grace with Jalen Milroe, with Justice Haynes, Jam Miller, a fall from grace with Kobe Prentice, Kendrick Law, with Ryan Williams, Caleb Odom, these receivers, a fall from grace with the tight ends that you got, a fall from grace with an offensive line that's going to be much better than last year, a fall from grace with the defense that's going to be better with Kane Womack? Really? But this is what a lot of people are feeding out there. Oh, it's going to be a fall from grace. Oh, Bama's only going to win 6 or 7 games. Oh, it's going to be so bad. If Nick Saban was still the coach of this team, the conversation would be, oh, Bama's going to be back in the national championship again. But because Nick Saban's removed, it's a fall from grace. Bama was winning national championships before Nick Saban. And I appreciate Coach Saban for everything. But Bama was winning natties with Wallace Wade. Y'all forget 1925, 1926, 1930 national championships? Did y'all forget that? Did y'all forget Frank Thomas, 1934, 1941 national championship? I mean, did y'all forget Paul Bear Bryant and all them championships he won between 1958 and 1979? Before 82 was his last season, if I'm not mistaken. Did y'all forget that? I mean, did y'all forget Gene Stallings won a championship in 1992, people? There were championships before Nick Saban, right? So, with Kalen DeBoer, this roster he's got right here, this is a championship roster. All the pieces in the right place. Coached right, coached properly. This is a championship roster right here. I think Kalen DeBoer has got America right where he wants them at. This is a guy that's won at every single level he's been at. He's won at every single level he's been at. And he had the balls of steel, if you will, to come behind Nick Saban. Some people would be afraid of that. Some would be scared of that. Some would pee their pants. I don't want to go down here. That's Nick Saban. I don't want to fit. Kalen DeBoer said, I don't I want it. I want it. Throw me out there. I want this. And he comes to Alabama wanting this opportunity to be the guy that feels the shoes left behind by Coach Saban. I don't think this is a fall from grace, people. I think this is a big year. I think potentially this is a national championship year. I've said this before, John. I see 11-1. At worst, 10-2, SEC champion, college football playoff. But I literally see 11-1. I literally do. If this team lays the smack on Georgia in week 4, could be undefeated. Could be undefeated. That week 4 matchup against Georgia, everybody will have their eyes on. Kalen DeBoer goes down there and takes Kirby Smart to the woodshed and takes his cookies. It could be undefeated, folks. Keep your eyes on that week 4 matchup, but I don't see a fall from grace. Others may see it. I don't see it. I see a team that's going to have a monster campaign in the fall. As always, folks, you want the best in news, notes, information, coverage here on your favorite program, that being the Crimson Tide. You can get this by accessing the Touchdown Alabama magazine app. You download the app from the iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple. Google Play Store if you got the Android phone for your audio needs. Check us out, iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm, or iHeartRadio. We got you covered right there. Continue subscribing to TouchdownAlabama.com. That's TouchdownAlabama.com. We got you this whole offseason with exclusive, non-stop content, perspective pieces where you look at Crimson Tide football. We got you with TDA Plus. Subscribe to that right there. Exclusive shows. Whether you're feeling the way it is, podcast with yours truly, giving you my coverage, 15 years, breaking down Crimson Tide football. Whether you got the Justin and Dex podcast, all things recruiting. They're talking about the game like nobody else is doing it right now. Justin's recruiting bites. He's out there on the road. You've never seen recruiting done like this. You definitely want to be a part of the TDA Plus hub right there, getting all of that awesome coverage from us right here, Touchdown Alabama magazine. God, I appreciate all of you, the Bama fans, for the donations, for the love, for the chatting in the YouTube comment section. Appreciate all of you. Until next time, folks, husbands, love your wives. Wives appreciate, value those husbands. Children, continue doing the right thing, fun thing, smart thing, legitimate thing too. Not be bored there. You get yourself those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. You protect yourself. You protect the loved ones around you. Till next time, folks, I'm your man, Stephen Smith, and you've been listening to In My Own Words.